Coming up on The World Today. U.S. Energy Department confirms it was hit by sunburst hack. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence receives Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine on live TV. Plus, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says EU trade deal looking difficult, but door is still open. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shobowale. We begin here in Nigeria, where President Muhammadu Buhari has met with the released 344 students of the Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, at the Katsina State Government House. The schoolboys arrived in Katsina State earlier today from Zamfara State after they were freed from their abductors on Thursday. President Muhammadu Buhari, who spoke to the school children in their native Hausa language, sympathized with these school children, noting that insecurity in the country must be tackled head-on.
Ku yara kun yi sa'a. Ina fata a wannan makaranta da kuke zababbiya ce ta ilimin kimiyya. Ku mai da hankali, shine zamani, ba wanda ya karanta tarihi ba ko turanci. A waɗanda suka yi kimiyya su ne za su fi samun aiki a nan gaba. Ina fata wannan abin da ya same ku yi ƙoƙari ku manta da shi, ku dukufa a kan neman ilimi. Daga gida nake yanzu. Ni mutanen Filato, wato mun ci muna wasa da su mu Fulani. To har yanzu suna magana kan cewa masu kiwon shanu suna zuwa suna masu fitina a gonaki. Wannan abu ya girme ni. Kusan ajiye na cika shekara 78. Cikin 78 din nan shekara ta 9 daga inda kuke din nan a nan Katsina. Da nan cikin Katsina da shekara 7, da shekara 1 a kafin Soli, da shekara 1 a Kankiya. Daga nan ban yi aikin ko kwana ɗaya wani shiga soja. Kun san kuma abin da ya auku da soja. Kuma Allah ya taimake ni, na yi gwamna, na yi ministan mai, na yi shugaban ƙasa, na yi kurkuku, na huto, na shiga siyasa, na dinga ɗayar karen shan wuya. Ina ƙarewa a gwamnatin koli sau 3 kafin Allah ya in zama shugaban ƙasa. 2015, 2019 na sake cin nasara. Saboda zuwa da ne da Alƙur'ani in tsare kundin mulkin Najeriya. To ran 29 ga watan 5 shekara 2023 dole in sabko.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari speaking there. And before the president met with the boys, Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari had received them at the government house, where he recounted the events that led to the release of the schoolboys. The governor sympathized with the school children and said that the insecurity in the state must be tackled head-on.
On December 11, 2020, 344 students of Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, were abducted, and this attracts global outrage. The boys' destination unknown. The boys regained their freedom from their captors on Thursday. Over 300 arrived this morning at the government house in Katsina State, most of them looking hungry and tired For days, they were kept in the forest without food. Mostly barefooted, as they march into the hall where Governor Aminu Masari receives them.
We are here with them to formally hand over the students to the state for subsequent handing over to their parents. Your Excellency, the 344 students are hereby handed over. Thank you.
He recounts the events that led to the release of the schoolboys.
This incident happened in Kankara. But the whole state was involved because no local government out of the 34 was left out of this situation because the students of Kankara Secondary School come from all the 34 local governments of the state, some from even outside the state. So in this, we are all involved. The entire state and the entire country is one body. If any part of the body is sick, everybody is sick. For the students, this should be part of their history.
Indeed, a historic moment for the students, as this bizarre experience will remain memorable for many years in their lives.
Really, we suffer in the bush. In part of hungry in the bush, and our mattress and our whole environment in the bush.
Have you been eating?
Yes, sometimes we eat. We take 2 days before we eat in the bush.
What do they normally give you?
Dankali.
Dankali, that's Irish.
Cassava. I am not well. I am sick.
You are not feeling fine?
Yes, I am not feeling fine.
At the time we are there, at the weather of that place, it is cold, and the food we are taking, it is just bread and granite cake. They are giving us an cassava, so that is only the food they are giving us. And if it is in the night, we can't. The place we are sleeping is the place we are defecating and excreting, and even if you can't sleep, if you wake up, you say you are going to eat yourself or you are going to defecate, they will discuss you about that. They will beat you and say, just go back and sleep.
For now, they undergo screening to ascertain their state of health before they eventually move to the hospital for treatment. On the part of the government, the task now is how to keep the state and the people safe from banditry, abduction, and other criminal acts.
We continue to discharge our responsibility as government and as leaders in the state. You suffer physically, mentally, psychologically. Let me assure you that we have suffered more.
Insecurity remains a major talking point for most Nigerians, particularly in the northeast, northwest, and indeed the entire country. The expectation from all is for security to be beefed up around every flashpoint across the country, particularly now that the Yuletide season is setting in.
Away from our shores now, the U.S. Energy Department is the latest agency to confirm it has been breached in what has been described as the worst ever hack on the U.S. government. The department is responsible for managing U.S. nuclear weapons, but says the arsenal's security had not been compromised. Tech giant Microsoft also said on Thursday that it had found malicious software in its systems. Many suspect the Russian government is responsible, although it has denied any role. The U.S. Treasury and Commerce Departments are among the other targets of the months-long breach, which was first acknowledged by officials on Sunday. VOA's national security correspondent, Jeff Selden, joins us now for more on this. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us on The World Today.
Of course, my pleasure.
Jeff, at this point, what more do we know about this attack, like what was stolen and the consequences?
That's a big question, and it's one that U.S. intelligence officials and cybersecurity officials are still trying to determine. When you hear from lawmakers who are starting to be briefed now on these intelligence findings about the hack, they're using terms like unprecedented in scope and scale. And this is a hack, and they're calling it a hack, not an act of cyber war or anything else. But they're saying this is a hack that continues to expand in size and scope. There are about 17,000 victims that are known already that downloaded the malicious software as part of the SolarWinds program that they were using. And now we're learning from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency that this may have been just part of the attack or the hack into U.S. systems and to other systems worldwide, that the hackers, the hackers may have used actually other software, other back to sneak into other systems. And the question now is, what did they take? Did they take anything, or did they try to perhaps change data in the systems or change information in the systems, or have they inserted other software that will allow them to control these software systems, these internet systems that are crucial to both government agencies in the U.S., companies around the world?
You know, many have pointed fingers at the Russian government, but it has denied any role. How is the U.S. government responding?
Well, intelligence officials and lawmakers who have been briefed by those intelligence officials are saying that this hack has all the hallmarks of a Russian operation. But they also say that lawmakers especially are saying they're not ready to say out and clearly attribute Russia, without any doubt. Remember, many U.S. intelligence officials and even, security officials have been talking a lot about the danger from China. But again, what we're hearing from lawmakers who are getting briefed by intelligence officials today, and we'll expect to get more briefings throughout the day, is that it has the hallmarks of a Russian attack, which brings other concerns about what Russia may do with any information. If it is Russia, what could be done with any information and any data they may have been able to access?
All right, then, a lot to keep our eyes on, Jeff. Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed.
Anytime.
To Brexit now, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says trade talks with the European Union are looking difficult and there is a gap that needs to be bridged, but the door for further negotiations remain open. As talks go down to the wire, both sides are demanding the other compromise amid a flurry of often conflicting messages that variously a deal is possible, a deal is in serious trouble, or that a deal is imminent. An accord would ensure that the goods trade that make up half of annual EU-UK commerce, worth nearly $1 trillion in all, would remain free of tariffs and quotas beyond December the 31st.
Well, obviously the UK's position is always that we want to keep talking if there's any chance of a deal, but we've also got to recognise that the UK's got to be able to control its own laws. It's what people voted for, and we've also got to be able to control our waters and our fishing rights. It's obviously also what people voted for, and no sensible government is going to agree to a treaty that doesn't have those two basic things in it, as well as everything else. Our door is open. We'll keep talking, but I have to say that things are looking difficult, and there's a gap that needs to be bridged. The UK's we've done a lot, I think, to try and help, and we hope that our EU friends will see sense and come to the table with something themselves, because that's really where we are. And if that doesn't happen, then come January the 1st, we will be trading on WTO terms, an event that obviously has been 4.5 years in the making, 4.5 years in the the preparation. Yes, it may be difficult at first, but this country will prosper mightily, as I've said many, many times, on any terms and under any arrangement. And I think we've just got to get through this period and look at all the opportunities that will open up for this country in 2021.
U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has received the coronavirus vaccine live on television. The White House says the aim of the move was to promote the safety and efficacy of the vaccine and build confidence among the American people. Mr. Pence's wife and Surgeon General Jerome Adams also received the jab at the televised White House event. On Monday, the U.S. began rolling out the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, the first vaccine to be approved in the U.S. It offers up to 95% protection against COVID-19.
That's great. Great job. Great job.
So before you guys leave today, you'll be getting a shot record proving that you received the vaccine from us today. And this vaccine is a 2-dose series, so that means you'll need to come back in 21 days for the second one.
I didn't feel a thing. Well done, and we appreciate your service to the country. But today, Karen and I wanted to step forward and take this vaccine to assure the American people that while we cut red tape, we cut no corners.
Meanwhile, a second coronavirus vaccine is nearing emergency approval in the U.S. after it was endorsed by a panel of experts. The head of the Food and Drug Administration says his agency would move quickly to authorize the Moderna vaccine, allowing the company to begin shipping millions of doses. President Donald Trump tweeted incorrectly on Thursday that the vaccine had already been overwhelmingly approved. The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine was approved earlier. America has recorded more COVID-19 cases and deaths than any other country. And earlier this week, its death toll passed 300,000. Our correspondent in Washington, D.C., Maria Bird, joins us now for more on this. Maria, is Mike Pence's vaccination getting the reaction that the White House had hoped for? Are Americans feeling more confident in getting the jab?
Well, it's just a few hours since he took the vaccine, and so many Americans are watching. I think for the base of the Trump party, you're exactly correct. This is bringing them closer to being able to believe in the vaccine, to believe this will help to curb the spread of the coronavirus. It will also help them to believe that COVID-19 is serious. When the vice president has gone forth and taken the vaccine, this means that this is not something to play around with. So I think for that population of individuals in the U.S., yes, this has helped them. But I think for many individuals in the U.S. who are the ones that people are most concerned about, I'm not sure if the vice president is actually the one that will make them feel more comfortable. Those who might be, people of color, obviously, and those who are, supporters of the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris upcoming administration.
Well, President Trump has been largely quiet. Any idea on if or when he'll be getting the vaccine himself?
Well, we know that Moderna was one of those when he did contract COVID-19 himself. That was one of the conversations, and we know that he's had a myriad of different drug treatments when he did contract the virus as well. And so it'll be interesting to see if once the Moderna vaccine is approved, which we're expecting that to happen today, that we won't see him sometime next week taking the vaccine.
All right, then. And just before I let you go, the U.S. is expecting to approve the Moderna vaccine. Is that likely to happen today? What are you hearing?
It's very likely to happen today. We're hearing much of the same that we heard with Pfizer, the risk versus the reward. And they're saying that the reward for this vaccine way overturns the potential risk that exists. And so we believe that we will see that approval some point today, and they're expecting sometime on Sunday or Monday we'll begin to see shipments going out for the disbursement of the Moderna vaccine. So that will obviously speed up the potential pace at which the U.S. is going right now with vaccinating Americans. And we might actually see by March that many Americans, even those who are not at the top of the list, being able to have access to the vaccine.
All right, then, Maria, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed. And do stay safe and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, you as well.
The United Nations Human Rights Agency has called on Thailand to amend its royal insult law, which it claims has been used against at least 35 activists, one as young as 16, in recent weeks. It says Thailand should stop using the law, which bans insulting the monarchy and other serious criminal charges against protesters. Persecutions which had stopped in 2018, restarted after protesters broke long-standing taboos by calling for reforms to curb the power of the king during months of street demonstrations. Those found guilty under the royal insult law faced 3 to 15 years in prison. Now, getting in the Christmas spirit, houses bedazzled with Christmas lights are some of the only festive attractions which remain possible in Germany and Austria this year, with traditional Christmas markets cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic. In Austria, the Gollenhuber family has bedecked their house and garden with some 600,000 LEDs over 5,000 square meters. Sabine Gollenhuber says the family had instigated a one-way system and was registering all visitors to enable contact tracing if necessary. Meanwhile, in Kriftel, near Frankfurt in Germany, pensioner Bernhard David spent around 7 weeks installing his Christmas light installation. A former electrician, he has been decorating his house for 40 years. Since 2015, he has also been collecting donations from visitors for a foundation for severely ill children. He has collected some 2,000 euros since the beginning of December. Spreading some much needed Christmas cheer. And that's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shubowale. Have a lovely weekend.